What's up, everybody? I had to stop it right before that touchdown. We can't see no touchdowns from a Giants because they obviously don't do a lot of that anyway. So, yeah. What's up, everybody? We're here on the Northeast Streaming Sports. It's the NFC East Show. I am the Philly sports guy. Well, along with, of course, True Blue, my right, Sneaky G in the bottom corner, and, of course, Keith. He is our fill-in football team guy. That's why he's always wearing red.
I try to represent.
There you go. How's everybody doing?
I'm good. I'm calling BS on that intro. You mean to tell me in that 25-minute intro, you only got three clips of the Philadelphia Eagles. That is Doug. That's exactly what that is.
I tell you, actually, the truth of the matter is that if I watched a lot of those plays, and I was watching it again today before I was I'm saying, I'll run with this one again. And when I'm looking at it, a lot of those plays happened in the first quarter, except for the 2-point conversion where the Giants beat Washington, and the last play of the game for Seattle, or the last offensive play for Seattle against Dallas. All those other plays are really in the first quarter or the second quarter. And the Eagles didn't have many big defensive plays where they got crushed defensively. Most of their plays were like 20 yards or less, where you guys had those bigger ones.
Yeah, we had a lot of big ones. Those guys they were just being burnt over the top. It was
and I believe it was also done in the beginning of the season. I think that when they showed those records, that's where that was done.
Yeah.
So the first 10 weeks of the season was horrific. And that's why I think that's what happened, with that video. That's why the Eagles were still the top of the division at that time.
The division was on fire at the end of the season.
Yes, it was. So, but you know what? After all was said and done, after watching that video a couple times, I realized one thing. We're going to win it again this year. The Eagles are going to do it. No. Just so that you know, I'm calling it now. I'm calling it now. I used to think that the Eagles were not going to win the division this year. I was thinking that that it's possible that we go 9-8 and either not make the playoffs even. But not win the division. I think the division winner is going to have 10 wins at minimum. And I wouldn't be surprised if we're all in the 7+ win category. My opinion.
I will say this, that the Eagles organization did a solid for the Philly fans. I mean, they literally found their quarterback of the future in Jalen Hurts, because you guys are definitely going to be hurting all season long, all 17 games. There is no way that you guys are going to win the division. But like I said, you did find your quarterback of the future, because, yes, it is going to hurt, plural. Hurts watching your Eagles play this season.
Oh, I know that you have very late in the season circled. You guys are crying all the way up until that point. I cannot. You're almost through that whole roll of Dallas toilet paper. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I had to buy another one, by the way. Oh wait, hold on. Let me there it is. There. I had to go buy another roll.
I will have to agree, unfortunately, with my Giants friend. Giants friend. That was kind of
yes. That's what she said. That's what.
So I will make a prediction that Doug Peterson will win 7 games before the Eagles win 7 games.
Oh wow.
That's where I
say that again. Say that again.
Peterson will win 7 games in a season again before the Eagles win 7 games in a season.
You would want to bet on that, would you?
I've been known to wager here and there.
I tell you, obviously you don't have a beard or any hair to shave, so
Go there.
But
wait, Jamie, when you were in the Navy, did they have those BCTs or the B? Is it called the B? The birth control glasses, BCCs, yeah,
BCGs.
BCGs
with the ugly brown things, and they were like really like square.
Yeah,
they were.
I
They
wore
were
those.
ugly. If you needed glasses and you were going to depend on the Navy to get them for you, they got them for you. You know what I mean? That's you weren't styling in any way, shape, or form.
Hey, but I tell you what, those things were tactical and industrial.
That's exactly correct. You could have dropped them anywhere. Dropped them on the deck. You could have played street hockey with them, and you still could have put them on. Not a scratch on them.
They could have been the puck.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yes, they could have been the puck, scored a couple goals, and then put them on after the game. That's the wager I think you should wage with Keith over here, because I think Keith would be sexy in some BCGs.
I could rock those. I'm telling you right now. I'd bring them back into style.
Are you pirate service, Keith?
I am not.
Okay, but you know what we're talking about, right?
I do have a clue. Yes. So
Okay.
I know I can pull it off. Yeah. In fact,
Yeah.
I wore those all through high school.
So where is Doug Peterson exactly?
So they came out today that he's interested in getting another head coach, but he isn't anywhere as of right now.
I thought he was an assistant coach somewhere.
No, he is not. I thought that he was going to do something up in Seattle. Truth of the matter is, he lives up there, so that's kind of what is happening. But as of right this second, he is a free agent.
Wow.
And I will tell you that although I expect him to get another coaching job and I expect him to do well while he's there, I also know that the Eagles will win more than 7 games this year. Just my opinion.
I want to know what the line is on Peterson on the over under for him being out of coaching before he gets another coaching job.
He'll have a coaching job next year.
He will.
Absolutely next year, without a doubt in my mind.
Yeah.
So I mean, and ultimately, he could happen sooner if somebody doesn't like what's happening after week 6 or 7. I wouldn't be surprised to see because there's 10 games left. You could see something like that happen now, where because they're doing 17 games and there's now 7 wild cards. You could have a change of philosophy after week 4 or 5, and maybe be able to get away with it if you have the right talent behind you.
No, there's only 3 wild cards. 4 division champs and 3 wild cards.
Correct. 7.
Yeah.
There's 7. So ultimately,
7 total teams on each
correct.
Yes, okay.
Correct.
That's a great point, Jamie. That's not something the NFL normally does, right? They have that. They always put an interim guy in there. When they fire somebody, they never bring in their next head coach. And as they lengthen the schedule, you're right. That philosophy could change. That's something I hadn't really thought about.
Well, especially like for instance, Chicago is like one of the teams that I would think could possibly make that move, that they've had enough of that coach and that he could come in and because he's worked with the offensive coordinator over there, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Isn't that still McDaniels over there or something like that? Like he could. Yeah, I mean, I know I have his name wrong, but it's I'm so bad.
No, you're bad. I'm horrible with names. If I'm not mistaken, McDaniels is the one in New England.
He is Josh McDaniel. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's not who I'm talking about. He
okay.
Eagles, and Nick Foles is there. So I mean, to kind of pair those two back up again wouldn't be so ridiculous.
Well,
but that's like the very specific scenario. I don't expect that. Like I said, he's like that. That's the one team that I think that could be able to pull it off. If Chicago goes like 1-4 or 1-3 or 0-4, I wouldn't be surprised to see Nagy terminated and Peterson brought in.
Well, it's not only going to be Nagy; the GM's going to go too.
Yeah,
that's what I'm hearing as well. And it's really interesting you brought that up because you're right. That could actually, I wouldn't be surprised if that happened because and think about it. Let's pause for a second. A couple years back, they bet on the kitchen sink, or they bet the house on Trubisky. Okay, I want you guys' take on something. First off, the draft is hard, right? That's fair to say. How are you going to put so much stock in a kid that had 1 year? Now, and again, I'm not trying to put down Trubisky at all. I'm not trying to put him down. But you're looking at a draft where you could have had, help me out, was it Mahomes?
Mahomes.
You could have Mahomes,
Daniel
Watson.
Jones. Daniel Jones on that draft. I mean, there was like 8 quarterbacks drafted in the first round.
Yeah.
So, and the last time that happened was like McNabb's draft. So it's like you have those, like it was like that many years, 15 years, 16 years. And this was going to be the next best draft class. It was the year after, because Dak and Wentz were already out there. They were like the year before.
And golf also went that same time. Yeah.
Correct.
So how are you going to bet the farm on someone that played one full season, only won 8 games, and he's going to be the first quarterback overall? I just don't understand that. I mean, he must have done something.
well, he wasn't the first quarterback to go.
Oh, Trubisky?
No, he was not.
No, Trubisky was.
I'm talking about Trubisky. Yeah, Trubisky was the first one.
So, to me, that's an indictment on Nagy. I don't know how you give Nagy the keys to the next guy after Trubisky. I mean, I think Trubisky's got some talent myself, and I think Nagy's as much to blame for him not developing as the quarterback himself. But so I don't know how you give him the keys to Justin Fields if you think he. And I'm not sure I would do that either.
Well, and that's the other reason. That's exactly the other reason why I feel that out of all the teams out there, that Peterson could fall into that spot and walk right in, and literally kind of take over, change the philosophy a little bit, and run with it. And then you could see, because they have a lot of talent on that team, just it's mismanaged.
Who else right now sitting at the top on the chopping block right now besides Chicago, as far as head coaches are concerned?
Well, Denver just got a new coach, right?
Yeah. Well, no, Vic is still there.
Yeah. Well, he needs to win, I think. So he might.
I think he's on the hot seat.
Then I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, Seattle is getting closer to him.
He ain't going to. He ain't going nowhere. He won a Super Bowl. He ain't going nowhere.
Well, Peterson did too.
Well, but Seattle and Philly they're 2 different teams, 2 different fan bases. I mean, to be honest.
Green Bay. The problem with Green Bay is that it's too much of a mess right now. However, he does have ties to Green Bay, so I mean, I guess you could kind of put that on the list. Would Rodgers be happier if they fired the coach and brought in?
Yep.
And brought in Peterson? I mean, I think at one point they did kind of work together.
But is Rodgers upset with the coach?
I think he's
GM?
upset with upper management. He's way upper
with
management.
GM or both. I mean, I actually thought it was LaFleur in the beginning because I'm sorry, I would love to be a head football coach, and hell yeah, I'll take the head football coaching job of the Green Bay Packers if I have the MVP as my quarterback. But then I'm going to kick a field goal think about it, to hope Tom Brady don't get a first down. I mean, to me, that just sounds like trust issues between the two.
Well, I think it goes a little bit further beyond that. I think Rodgers wearing that disrespect shirt was towards the management more than it was the coach.
Correct.
So
Yeah,
he read into it a little bit more than that. So.
But then why did the coach take the ball away from Rodgers' hand? Because look, I get it though. I get it because if you go for it on fourth down or you do some kind of weird play that doesn't work, you got to answer for it in the post conference, right? I get that. But when they ask you, why did you give Aaron Rodgers, or why did you go for it on fourth down?
Well,
he has it out. Wouldn't you?
Well, absolutely. You can't give the ball back to Tom Brady. So, I mean, that's just nuts.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing too: is that Rodgers had that 10 yards in front of him to go for it.
Right, but he also had another down though. He also had another down.
That's the thing. I think that's the thing. As the head coach, he saw that he had 10 yards of real estate in front of him. He didn't take advantage, and therefore he goes, "Well, if he couldn't take advantage of that, I might as well go for the points."
What was that, Keith? I'm sorry.
He's got to run the ball in that spot on third down.
No, agreed. But I mean, okay, that's the thing though. He didn't run it because, if I'm not mistaken, in one of his interviews, he said that, well, I thought we were going to go for it. But see,
it doesn't change the fact his best chance to score in that play was to take a right and run the ball in the end zone 8 yards, not even 8 yards.
I agree.
But see, every coach and quarterback works together when they say, "Hey, you know what? This is a 4-down situation." When they're on the sideline, they say, "Hey, this is how we're going to do it." So was that agreed upon? Who knows? Apparently, it wasn't. So I think the coach had his way out, saying, "Hey, you know what? He didn't get us that touchdown on the third down, so we have to go for points." And who knows if Roger wasn't sticking it to them by not going and running it through.
Yeah, well, I don't.
You can't. That takes a lot of. I doubt that. Because at that point, that's for to go to the Super Bowl.
Well,
amongst everything else, I can't imagine that he doesn't want to win.
Well, you got to look at the situations he's been at in the past, how petty he's been.
Well, I think the fact that he was a little hesitant to run and he made that decision that way and then thought, hey, we're going to go for it. It's like, and of course they didn't go for it. And now that is what it is. Of course, he's going to be petty about it because like, well, hey, if I only knew I was going to have 3 downs, I had to run it.
Well, see, here's the other thing too. How do you not have command and control of that situation as a quarterback and stay out there, such as Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, hell, even the kid out of Cleveland just did it, Baker Mayfield. He said, "I'm staying out here. We're going to get this." and the coach listened. So why wouldn't Aaron Rodgers do that?
Well, him and LaFleur have a history.
Exactly.
And that's why. And I mean, and if we also take a trip down memory lane on the 4 NFC Championship games that Rodgers lost, I mean, maybe I don't know if that had something to do with it. I mean, although the one in Seattle didn't, wasn't his fault. I mean, that onside kick wasn't caught.
Could have scored more points and it wouldn't have mattered.
Right, that's true.
I'm not an Aaron Rodgers fan. Aaron Rodgers cries all the time about the Packers not giving him help, but they've been good enough to get the 4 NFC Championship games that they didn't win with him as a quarterback.
And Keith, I can't argue with you there. To me, it seems like he's entitled a little bit to me, and I have no problem saying that. It kind of
he's getting paid by State Farm. Why does he need this? Why does he need the Packers?
Right. When he told the fan base to relax, and actually spelled it out for him, I kind of took a step back and said, what quarterback does that?
Yeah, but I looked at that as a power move. That was definitely a power move. And listen, and it worked. And it worked because he energized his team. Listen, the guys don't love playing for him. He's an asshole. You know what I mean? That goes across the board with him. Mm-hmm. However, he does win. He does win a lot of the times and has won a Super Bowl. Now, if you could say for a lot of different reasons that he hasn't won it since then. So maybe he is getting a little too comfortable. Maybe those State Farm commercials are going a little bit more to his head rather than having to worry about the getting the rings. You know what I mean? Maybe that's half the reason why you don't see Tom Brady on any of these commercials. You don't ever see him endorsing anything. The only time I ever really hear before this offseason, where he actually has been more public now than he's been ever in his career, the only time you would actually hear about Tom Brady would be on Monday Night Football in the car. If you were listening on the radio at halftime, he would do an interview with that guy, and they would do it on Westwood One. They had the contract with him to do a radio show for 10 minutes at every halftime. You know what I mean? Talk about the game and stuff like that.
That's got to do with where he isn't anymore as well. So,
and it has a lot to do with where he is in life.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think he's ready for that transfer right now. But
he did do a commercial. He did do a commercial where he was talking about his I think it was his 4 rings. And then at the end, it said, "Oh no, I got this extra one that he did prior to the Super Bowl with the Falcons." Yeah, he has done commercials.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only commercial I ever remember seeing him in for real was the NFL 100 commercial, and he's sitting there, he's going, like he can't grab the football, so.
Well, we don't see Rodgers giving money back, not giving money back, but deferring money like Brady did his entire career.
Oh, no. Yeah, no.
So he could make the team, help the team get better. I've never seen Rodgers give back that way to help the team.
I haven't seen any quarterbacks do that, really.
Tom Brady did
the only one is Tom Brady.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, Eli did it. He did it as well.
Yeah, he did. He did.
Yep. And I guarantee you, before Dak's 4 years are up, he's going to do it a couple times as well.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to have to.
Yeah. There's a high
if he
salary.
Wants to win. If he wants to win, that's what's going to have to happen.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Can you imagine if he didn't? Like, how does that make a person look? Because think about it.
It makes him look like Jason Peters did last year when he was supposed to play guard. Then he went to go play tackle, and then he cried about money, and then wound up getting more money. He wound up giving him an extension to try to make him happy, and then he wound up getting hurt. He sucked at tackle. You know what I mean? It's like he didn't give that money back. He got more money, and it was all on his name previously. So I get it. You know what I mean?
So, Jamie, please tell me how you really feel.
I feel that Jason Peters, because of last season, lost his first. I thought he was going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer, and I think last season actually changed him to I think he's a Hall of Famer. I think that once you're a Hall of Famer, you're a Hall of Famer. But I think that last season cost him his first ballot.
Mm.
Yeah.
He was so bad last year, and it wound up putting such a brown mark on the guy's career that's the difference. He's going to make it into the Hall of Fame. He'll probably be second ballot, or worst case scenario, third ballot. But I don't think he'll be a first ballot now. And that's. I mean, I guess there's a little bit of a big deal to that.
Right. Well, I mean, it's funny you say that, but it's about last season. You don't think players in a whole, like 2020, they get a pass?
Not the way he did it.
Okay.
Not the way that he did it.
And I'm just asking because I don't know. That's why.
It was the way he did it on the monetary side.
Yeah, the way that he kind of held management hostage, and they had to make a decision because they didn't think Mailata was ready yet, and they lost their Dillard on the ACL. So they had to make the decision, and it's like, okay, well, I'm not going to play unless I get more money. And then, like I said, so he went from guard back out to tackle, and instead of just doing it, he held them up for more money. They gave him more money, and then he didn't last but like 6-7 games, and he stunk. You know what I mean? Stunk out loud.
I believe it.
So, and that was the problem. That even while he was there, and he's been known as the bodyguard. Like I said, he's had a Hall of Fame career. But last year was so bad, and the fact that he still wanted to play again this year, because I was like, hey, listen, why don't you make him a coach? He's an offensive line coach. Why not? He wants to be around the game. That's the problem. You know what I mean? He wants to be around the game.
Yeah, a lot of these guys do.
He can't accept the no, and he's friends with the owner. Why not give him a job? You know what I mean? And take him off of the salary cap, and put him on, in a collared shirt.
Well, a lot of those transitions don't usually work out best for the team. Depending. But he's an offensive lineman. I think that would help most, if you're putting him up there in the scale of Hall of Famer, I think it would help him out tremendously.
It passed him by. 2018 was his last year. I thought 2019 he did not do well. 2020 was even worse. You know what I mean? It's like a Hall of Famer always goes, he's great, and then he becomes good, and then they stay 2 years too long.
Yeah.
Well, he's on his third year, now going on his fourth year too long.
Wow.
Just my opinion. You know what I mean?
How long has he been in the league? 21
years, maybe.
Really? What did he get, a Super Bowl ring?
No. 18 years. Oh, he got a Super Bowl ring, but he wasn't playing. Maybe it's 18 years. Let me see. I'm looking it up right now.
That's still a lengthy career for a lineman.
Oh yeah, I mean it's a Hall of Fame career. So I mean, I'm not talking about how the guy should be,
Yeah, and it's hard for these guys to walk away from the game itself. But you're right. If they can move him up to a coach, why not do it? Why not take that step? Help your team.
This is going to be his 18th year. His 18th year.
You've made. I can't speak for anybody on what they make, but if you've been in the league that long and you've made the money, then you should by all means, if you have that kind of relationship, try and work with them. But again, that's my opinion.
Right. Well, and I get it too. I mean, I understand, but he did him dirty a little bit. He just did him dirty a little bit. They gave him all right, we'll move you at guard. You'll be in the rotation at guard. And then because they wanted him in the rotation is really what they wanted. They wanted to be able to rotate him in and out because he's not a full game tackle anymore.
Especially if it's affecting the salary cap.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And what they did is just strap them more rather than try to defer some of the money back last year. They couldn't do it because they got strapped. And then, of course, he didn't play that much. You know what I mean? It just, he played 8 games last year, and stunk for a lot of them. You know what I mean? It was probably one of his worst statistical years. He was offsides all the time. They were done. He used to get those calls where he would be a quarter of a second faster than everybody else. He looked like he was faster than everybody else. Yeah. They didn't give him those calls anymore. And then it was, they didn't call him on holding, but he just was letting him go. He couldn't handle him anymore. He just didn't have the speed anymore.
When you start getting those false starts, that means you're losing that step.
That's exactly correct.
This is a fast game.
I'm trying to find the picture when I actually met Jaws. That was an awesome experience in Seattle, and it was funny, and I'm sure he enjoyed every minute of it too, because he met me. I
was just talking to him. He says, how is Sneaky? I ain't seen him in so long.
I figured. That's a figure. But seriously, the reason why I said I'm pretty enjoyed it because nobody bothered him. The ambiguity of him just going into Starbucks like everybody else, getting a cup of coffee. And the one question I wanted to ask him, the one question is, because he stopped wearing his NFC champion. Well, this is before they won the Super Bowl, before the Philadelphia Soul won the Arena Bowl. He stopped wearing his NFC championship ring. And I wanted to ask him why. I was just one of those,
Yeah, how long ago was it?
2000. Well, and ironic. Well, this is okay. Give me a couple seconds. This is the funny part. That was my first day back, going back to work after my mom passed.
Okay.
She passed December 9th. I flew home that Monday, and obviously, your mom. You lose your mom, you're a mess. Yeah. And I'll never forget. And people have their opinion about religion. I prayed, and I just said, make today easy, please make today. And then there's Ron Jaworski. I mean, like.
The Lord said, let's give him Jaws.
Yes, it was the Monday night game. To me, I just took it as a sign, like, okay, yeah, and well, and it's funny too. Our conversation kind of was. We talked about the Giants, but it was just how everything worked out. It was just funny.
I was back when he was on Monday Night Football.
Yeah, with Gruden, if I'm not mistaken.
Right. Yeah, him and Gruden would go at it sometimes. That was the reason why he wouldn't stay on there anymore. They had to can him because him and Gruden were.
Well, he didn't get along with Hodges either.
Merrill Hodges is a Philly hater. He's a Philly hater from long ago.
Oh, really?
Always Pittsburgh, but he's got penis envy. Doesn't matter how well that they did, he's got penis envy. You know what I mean? Of Philly. Just always has, always will. So
that is hilarious. That is freaking hilarious.
Didn't Jaws do Monday Night Football when they had the Tony Kornheiser experiment on Monday Night Football? Wasn't he part of that team?
Well, yes, yeah. That 1 year he was a part of there.
Yeah.
I
kind of liked it. I don't know why. I don't know.
But the three guys in the booth.
I like Tony Kornheiser, and I think he did a horrible job on Monday Night Football. But
I'm sorry to cut you off. The reason who he remind me of Howard Cosell.
Yeah,
that's who Corny Kornheiser reminded me of.
Corny Kornheiser. That's a great way to put it.
Yeah, well, yeah. I'm so great with names. I might as well just
Corny Kornheiser. I mean, I'm sure he loved being called that. Hey, Corny.
He was that though.
I need to stop drinking this hottie toddy. That's what I need to stop drinking. Woo.
Blackberry brandy will solve that cough real fast.
I don't know how that guy ended up in the booth on Monday Night Football. That was something else. It was just
nobody cared. Oh,
yeah. Wow. There you go. He's better than Jason Witten. That's for sure.
So I take it he's more comfortable with Booger.
I couldn't stand Booger, but Booger spoke well. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, it's funny what he says. When you get 10 yards, that's a first down.
Yeah, he did have some good ones.
It's like, are you really?
If you break that plane of the end zone, you get a touchdown.
And when you get in the end zone, you get 6 points.
Yeah.
And that's called a touchdown. But then when you get a first down, you get 10 yards. It's like, oh wow.
Yeah, it was Monday. It was Monday Night Football when Amari Cooper came over to us, and we were playing the Tennessee Titans. That was his first game, and I was right there on the end zone, right there on the line when he did that little hook to score his first touchdown as a Dallas Cowboy. And Booger was inside that cart. That cart that
he's in the cart. Yeah.
The crowd's going crazy and everything. He's all, man, you hear how this crowd gets when he scores a touchdown? I'm like, you gotta be kidding me, man.
They're yelling.
That's the type of thing.
It's so bad.
It's great though. I was laughing at the whole thing.
Who thought putting him in that freaking jump seat was a good idea anyway? Guys are paying $8,000 a game to go watch a game, and they got Booger in front of them so they can't see.
Oh yeah, man! It was like that. It was, yeah. That side-to-side cart with him on it, I just couldn't understand it. And then he had a plexiglass in front of it, so now anybody that's sitting on the front rows couldn't see when he was right there in front of them. They literally couldn't see the field.
Brilliant.
That's when you start throwing stuff at him.
Oh, exactly. They were, trust me.
Yeah, the NFL probably learned about that.
Yeah, I think they did. That's why they stopped that.
It couldn't have been any worse when Sunday Countdown added Rush Limbaugh to
He only made it about 5 weeks, didn't he, for the
No.
Big Nab?
No, I think it was 2 to 3 weeks. It wasn't long.
Not
It wasn't
long.
long.
Oh yeah, they're like,
When
this ain't cutting it.
I'm not a Rush Limbaugh fan at all. I have no problem saying
No, really.
I am not.
I can't see what you mean by that. You know what I mean? Because I interviewed him. Do you want to hear what he said?
I wish he would. I wish he would.
But going back to ESPN and the things that they were doing for Monday Night Football, how they've been switching out the guys, trying to find that right experiment of guys to go in between. It's like the guys that they're getting don't understand. They get there and they're supposed to do their interviews with the teams, the scouting reports, the coaches. And they take all that knowledge, and then they forget about the game in front of them. They forget about the game in front of them. The whole time they're talking about everything that they did while they're doing their sessions. And Dennis Miller was as bad.
Yes, he was.
Oh,
He was a guy. He was a guy that was just. They were trying to get a comedian in there to try to be funny, and he was just not good at it. You know who I thought would have been really good at it though, like George Carlin.
yeah.
No.
But I think George Carlin would have been too real.
True.
I don't think he would. I don't think he would have played the game, if you will. I think he'd have been a little too real.
Well, see,
politically incorrect, probably.
That would have been fun.
Like I was saying.
Well, yeah.
Peyton Manning. I think Peyton Manning is going to be doing Sunday Night Football here pretty soon.
I think he's going to Thursday Night Football because Amazon's about ready to throw $1 billion at him for crying out loud. Yeah.
Well, Keith, I got to know, what were your thoughts when Theismann was doing Sunday night? Did you?
Oh, God.
I was waiting for my moment. I had to ask him. And to be fair,
I wanted to break my leg listening to him do the games.
When
too soon? Is it too soon for that or no?
No, it's not. No, it's been about a couple decades.
Yeah.
To be fair, that was when I started watching Sunday Night Football on ESPN. He was the commentator, and that's when he would wear his Super Bowl ring and his conference ring, and it was him and somebody else. I can't remember the other guy's name.
Mike Patrick, I think, did the game.
Yes. And I didn't know. I wasn't sure who to compare him to. I thought they did a good job.
Look, Theismann had a nice career. He won a Super Bowl, but there's no bigger Joe Theismann fan than Joe Theismann. That's the problem, right?
Right.
Gosh, he's full of himself, man.
Well, one of the best was always John Madden, and when he was with CBS.
Pat Summerall.
Yeah.
Those guys are they're the top
king.
line right there.
Yeah, the king.
I was just thinking about that. Like I like Dan Fouts. I like listening to Dan Fouts on there, and I love listening to the guy on Westwood One does on the radio.
That is,
but he's iconic too.
Are you talking about from Cincinnati, Boomer or from the
No. Yeah, I'm talking about I don't know. He did the call of like the cat and the streaker and stuff like that. Like he does these calls and they're like.
So the only ones I'm hearing from Westwood One is Boomer Esiason and Kurt Warner. Those are the two guys for Westwood One.
Yeah, but they don't call the games. They're a color.
They're color on it. Okay. Play by play. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know who I got to say who did the best sideline interview? O.J. Simpson. I mean, he was killing them out there. I mean, his gloves were fitting and all, and
Kevin Harlan.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, he's too loud, Kevin Harlan.
Yeah, but he's so funny though. Like I like he's not only part of the game, but he actually and like sometimes he shut up. Like I like it when sometimes they shut up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they let the game happen for a second. But like I like how he calls certain things.
That's where the old time sports and all the sportscasters, they would let the game play out. You know, they wouldn't just talk over everything. Jack Buck. I mean, Joe Buck should go watch some tapes of his dad once in a while, I think, right?
Yes. Yes, because that's one of the guys it's hard to. When he's there calling the game, I know he's calling the game, and I can hear him every second in my head.
Yeah, and you know what? I actually like Troy Aikman.
I like Troy Aikman as well, and he's brutally honest.
Yep.
Yeah, I used to like Romo, but now I don't anymore. I think that he had a few moments where he actually did the work, and then he's like, "Well, shit, I know this already," and then he stopped doing the work, and then you could tell.
I think that's because CBS said to calm down a little bit on the whole thing because he was doing it too well and upstaging Mr. Nance.
And I actually heard that.
Yeah.
I actually not so much they told him to calm down, but I heard that they were kind of reeling him back a little bit. Because he was calling the plays.
Yep.
He was calling the plays before it happened.
His first or two were just he was awesome. He really was. But now he's like the rest.
Well, it was funny when Gruden was doing it. When Gruden was calling the plays. He called that one. He called that one play for his brother. He's like, "Yeah, this is the play," and it was the play, and it went for like a 2-point conversion or something. So.
I can't see him without seeing Frank Caliendo at that big ring of him.
I don't know if you guys watched Hard Knock Live. That he actually brought him in. The what's his name? Gruden brought Caliente in because God, he does Gruden so good.
He does.
Aqib Talib and Aqib Talib is one of the best dressed when he comes to calling the plays on the sideline.
I can't say I remember hearing him, to be honest with you, but
I will tell you this: I like how Charles Woodson dressed. He's bringing the what do you call it? The ascot. He's bringing that back, and I like what he's doing with that. I think
Aqib Talib was doing that before him.
No, Woodson was out there before Aqib was.
Yeah,
doing Monday Night Football.
Oh, it doesn't matter. Like I said, they're only in the booth, so we're not paying. I'm not taking any fashion tips from them because I'm not wearing any ascots or any ties or anything like that.
I will rock one.
Cosell. I was going to get some fashion tips from Cosell, old Cosell tapes.
There you go. Back in the 70s, it's right about the same time now. That's the way you do it.
I just want to get one of those big cigars he had.
Well, you think about back in the 70s when Howard Cosell, how they wore they had the headpiece and then they had the around with the microphone held up.
Yeah.
Pretty much how we are today.
Yeah.
So they were 3 steps ahead of everybody, even back in the 70s.
Well, and of course, it was an Eagles. It was the Eagles that got him in trouble. Leonard Toes getting him drunk
when he was drunk that night, right? Yeah.
Oh, Leonard Toes was feeding him champagne, and he was just wasted.
There's some great film on those guys. It's awesome.
Did he commentate that game drunk?
The first half.
Oh yeah.
He got sent home for the second half.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It was done a little bit on so Leonard Toes was known for a couple of things. He was very good with his team, but he was a drinker and a gambler.
Yeah.
And you can't be an NFL owner and be those.
Right.
So he you just better be good at them. You better be good at them. You better start making money other ways. You can't he had the money. So
imagine if he was around right now for the Vegas race.
Oh my God.
He'd be up in arms. He'd be like, "You let them move there and not me?"
Wait, so why did the one owner from the 49ers had to give up his rights? that was some kind of like mafia stuff, right?
The Bartolo.
Yeah, there's a story behind that.
Yeah,
He gave it up to his son.
well,
No,
I
he
thought,
gave it to his sister.
yeah,
turn it over
I don't
to his
know that it was
sister.
mafia. I thought it was
No.
more political than that. Like racism, I thought was stemmed to
No.
that.
No.
Not
No,
racism?
no, that's the Clippers. You're thinking of the Clippers.
Well, no, I
No.
remember that too, but I kind of thought that there was some type of situation that occurred.
Well, the only thing I can think of was the Carolinas, the Panthers. That was, I want to say, the racism aspect of it.
All right, well, like I said, and I don't follow them, so maybe I'm thinking of something else different.
Mhm.
I just I know that they, I remember it happening. I don't remember it being mafia because when when it comes to Italian stuff like that, I pay a lot of attention.
There was some fraud case in Louisiana.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's got a presidential pardon now, though, so
So he could own the team again if he wanted to.
I suppose he could. Well, the NFL would still have to let him in. He's not pardoned by the NFL. He's only pardoned by Donald Trump. So
There we go. Here we got a question here. Any thoughts on the potential move of Ertz to Buffalo? So it was reported, just so that where this is coming from, the announcer for the Eagles, Mel Reese, said that the Eagles and Buffalo are close to a deal. And I don't know what that really means, obviously, and it's coming from Mel Reese, which is not your typical source to release information. And he's the one that said outright that the Eagles and Buffalo were close to a deal on Zach Ertz. One, I like him going up there. I think that he would be really helpful to them up there.
He'd be a good fit. I think you're right.
And I think in the process of that, he'd probably stay in Philly, because they do a lot of work in the community in Philadelphia, both him and his wife. So
what would you get for him? Some compensation picks or?
See, and I don't know. That's where. So my thought is that you'd get a cornerback. And I don't know who their cornerbacks are. And once they had announced them, I could look them up right now and say who's the cornerbacks for Buffalo.
Josh Norman.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't think you're going to get a good player.
oh,
No, you're not going to get Josh Norman.
No, you're not going to get a good player back.
I think you get a tier 2 player.
you're not going to get.
I think you could get a starter. Maybe I guess even a third down back, but again, you need a cornerback or a safety, and I don't know that they have any of those.
I'm thinking they'll get rid of him, get rid of their salary that they have on him, and then take a 6th or 7th round pick for him.
No, I think that's been the part of the holdup now, that they don't want to do it like that. That they, I think that if they're going to do it for a trade, the problem is that they're probably getting a 3rd round pick, and he wants a little more.
Oh, okay.
So my thought is that he's probably doing like a 3rd and like a 6th.
What is this, year 5 for him?
Say again.
Year 5, year 6
for Ertz?
Yeah,
I think it's 8.
Oh, yeah, gotta be.
Yeah, I think it's 8.
Wow, man, time flies.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Tell me about it.
What do you think he's worth, Jamie? What do you think he's worth?
I think he's worth a 3rd round pick, maybe a 3rd round plus.
What's his salary right now?
I'm actually pulling this up all as we speak.
25, 30 mil?
No, I think it's more like 13 million.
For the one season.
For this next season, you know what I mean? But I'm pulling it up now.
I'm curious if he has any signing bonuses, roster bonuses.
Because I think it's 15 million right now.
Yeah, so he probably signed after his 5th year option. Probably signed a 3-year, $35 million deal, and he's down at 15 million now.
Right, because he's got 1 year, and this is his 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9th season.
Wow.
So he came in 2013.
Man, time's flown.
It goes by so quick.
Yeah, and I don't get to see. He had a 5-year, $42.5 million extension in 2016.
Yeah, there you go.
So
yeah, I'm gonna stick with what I said, even though you're saying third pick at year 8, you're looking at 6th or 7th. Get rid of the money, get rid of the salary, get rid of the overhead, and then take what you can get on the compensation.
I hear you. I think that they're going to go a little bit more. I think that that's been the holdup.
Maybe the 4th, but I don't see I don't see a third for a tight end. I don't see a third going up for an 8-year tight end.
Well, I mean, yeah, but he is a Pro Bowl. He is a Super Bowl winning, and you know what I mean. It's those are the types of things, and of course, their coach was their defensive coordinator, and so has been knows him a little bit. You know what I mean? That there's some stuff there. There's some connections up there.
Yeah, there's some relationship there.
It's not unrealistic for them to go up there, and I think that they are like a good tight end, maybe away from having the right offense to be able to go and maybe get over the hump and get past Kansas City. You know what I mean? I think that was a weakness that they had last year, the versatility of that.
They didn't have anything inside the box when they were playing against Kansas City. They couldn't get 10 yards in the box.
Right.
And they didn't have a running game either, from what
that's what I'm saying. You couldn't get 10 yards in the box. If you had the tight end, you could.
Right.
They didn't have that. It was either a wide receiver or pitch out. Or the only person to run up the middle, which I didn't understand, was a quarterback. But
right.
Well, that's because he was bigger than the other tight ends.
Exactly.
So, I mean, realistically, it's not a surprise to see that they would go after a tight end, and I think that they would give a little bit more for that. If he was going to a team that didn't have a chance at Super Bowl aspirations, again, that's where I want winners in the locker room. Like people I get now, when I have a team molded and I'm just about to get over the precipice, I want to be very careful that I get winners in the right spots. Somebody who's going to have the right type of attitude, has got, he's done it. Yeah. And he's clean cut. You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing. I mean, he's got a wife who plays on the soccer team. Like they'll love him up there. You know what I mean?
Well, and the other thing, too, is he's out of the division.
Right.
He's out of the conference.
Yeah.
Correct. So, but you're actually putting him in a spot to win. And I think that would be good for Philadelphia fans, too, because I think Philadelphia fans like him. You know what I mean? So I don't think they would they don't want to see him go to nobody wants to see him with the Colts because they just don't want him to be with Wentz. But
who is y'all's number one seller, and this is for everyone, the number one seller in jerseys right now for your team?
I'd be willing to bet that it's Hurts.
What about you?
No, Devontae Smith. Probably by a long shot. By a long shot right now, Devontae Smith, I'd be willing to bet.
Right now.
Yeah.
Barkley? Saquon?
Right now, it'd be Barkley or even Galladay. I would say Galladay would be a pretty big seller right now. Hold on a second.
I think their quarterback's always going to be up there. It's got to be Jones. Has got to be up there somewhere.
Actually, he might be like number 2. Hold on a sec.
I'm thinking Saquon. Even after the injury.
Whoops. Hold on, number 1.
I know a lot of people are getting upset with their teams with all these players switching jerseys.
Oh, I know. Especially with Shepard, too. It's going to be weird seeing him as I think he picked number 3.
Yeah. I heard somebody the other day, one of the players speak, and it was pretty good what he said. He goes, he's not changing his number because his fans work really hard to earn the money that they get to buy his jersey, so he doesn't want to switch up numbers on him.
Devontae Smith is the 4th best selling jersey in the NFL right now.
Not shocked. Not shocked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Behind Nasir guy, Carl Nassib, Josh Allen, Justin Fields,
What
Devontae
year?
Smith, Tom Brady is number 5.
Patrick Mahomes isn't in there?
Well, yeah, the list I'm looking at is dated 2019, so I'm sure it's changed. But
yeah, this is dated June 23rd.
So who's number 1?
Say again. Carl Nassib. That was right after he went public.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Oh, right, yeah.
From the Raiders.
Yeah, so then Josh Allen's number 2, Justin Fields number 3, Devontae Smith number 4, Tom Brady number 5.
So your guy definitely would be the number 1 guy for your team.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, it took me a second, and I'm like, no, Devontae Smith, definitely. I can imagine that he has the most.
So I know we're about to go in like 2 minutes. What's your thoughts on Nassib coming out? Do you think it's going to be the first of many, or it's going to be the status quo?
Well, did you hear Bruce from the Buffalo Bills?
What, he came out?
No, Bruce. He came out, or what his comments were towards this whole situation about the Buffalo Bills and his former teammates. I mean, basically, he was saying how he embraced them, but nobody. I mean, you got to go to. I don't want to put words in his mouth, but
okay.
You just go listen to what he said. It was, the way it was back then.
Right, and I also thought like the way that this guy did it was very the way what he wrote, and that's kind of how he did that. It was actually well written, to the point, very considerate, and like, listen, I'm not trying to set the world on fire here. I just want to be on my team. I want my team to win, and them to be okay with the fact that I am, sleeping with dudes rather than chicks. You know what I mean? And I think
Yep.
They probably knew. Jerry Smith, with Jerry Smith for the Redskins back in the 70s was a really good. He he was an All-Pro, I think, 3 times tight end, and it wasn't everybody in the locker room knew.
Yep, that's what I'm saying. Bruce,
yeah,
Bruce from Buffalo is basically saying the same thing, and
it's been around. It's been around. Hey, listen, those guys go at 1,000,000 miles an hour. And that it's like when I hear about some of the domestic violence that happens and things like that, that's because those girls decide to go the 1,000,000 miles an hour too. I feel, you know what I mean? And I'm not saying that anybody's right or wrong by doing any of that, but when you're driving at 1,000,000 miles an hour, you're bound to have an accident. You know what I mean? And that's kind of how I look at this. So I don't say, hey, listen, it's your own fault when you do stupid stuff. You know what I mean? Do stupid things, win stupid prizes. I'm fully a game with that. But to get back to this, like I think that it's been around forever, and they've just been very quiet about it because you don't want the fact that, hey, I'm a gay player and I am now taking the spotlight from the team because of my sexuality. And that was what I thought he did absolutely best. He was like, listen, I am gay. I am proud to be a gay man. I'm glad that my teammates support me, and I am ready to go back and be a football player because I am also a football player. And the fact that I'm gay has nothing to do with that.
Correct.
And that's kind of that was in a nutshell kind of what I read on his. Like I said, it was very well written and prepped. Obviously, yeah. I mean, that's a big deal to come out. They'd be the first guy to come out and be like, okay, this is what's happening. I kind of thought that the guy that the Cowboys drafted was going to be that guy. You know what I mean? I thought he was going to come out because that's it. They're saying that he's been a problem in the locker room. The problem with the locker room is that he is such a big dude and such a strong personality, and he kind of makes fun of the straight guys. You know what I mean? That was part of the issue that he had.
Well, I heard he just wasn't that good. I mean, and it's not because he was gay. It was just he wasn't that,
it was
that good.
I mean, he was a hell of a player at Mizzou. He was.
Right, yeah, because he let it.
What are we talking
he let
about?
it.
I'm talking about the guy from Penn State.
Oh, I'm talking about the guy, Michael Sam. I'm sorry, I'm talking about Michael Sam.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying is it.
Oh yeah, not I wasn't talking about him.
No,
yeah,
I knew what you were talking about, but anyways, yeah.
When he went out to Canada, I thought he was going to take the league by storm up there, and then he, it ended up not working out for whatever reason, and now he's not playing football.
It's a business.
Yeah, and so it doesn't surprise me. When you're around guys all the time, you're hitting guys all the time. I'm not surprised. I'm surprised that it has taking this long for it to come out.
Right.
You know what I mean? I guess because it's such a manly game that you don't want to have somebody start. They look at the FAG word in the gay community as the N word in the black community. You know what I mean? They put that on the same level. And I guess you just don't want to get in the crossfire of that, because a lot of things get said on a football field that we don't ever hear. You know what I mean? That they definitely wash that stuff out. I got to imagine they're calling themselves each other MFers and every other name in the book that they possibly can. You know what I mean? So I got, so ultimately you don't want to give somebody that advantage to be able to do that to you. You know what I mean? To say, where you're going to now they're just kind of whispering that in your ear, and next thing you know, you're getting enraged because of it. That's a different type of gamesmanship. You know what I mean? That's like borderline cheating.
It's in all sports. If you can get in your opponent's head.
I mean, that's what I do. When I go down there, like I start Googling them, and I start to try to find out what their girlfriend looks like, what did mom cook for dinner? Like, what's their favorite meal and stuff like that? Because all you got to do is get that one tweak in them.
Yeah.
Like when I did it for the basketball game with Russell Westbrook. And I think I went on for a minute with you guys, but I was in his head. It was the same day that the guy threw the popcorn on him. I mean, I was all over him. You know what I mean? Like, he was having a bad game because of me. Not because of me, obviously. He was having a bad game, but I wasn't helping. You know what I mean? He was hearing me, and they couldn't stop it. I was loud, and I was on point, and I was in his ear, and he, like, when he had to shoot foul shots, he had to look directly at me. You know what I mean? So he was stuck. And, you know how I like to stand out.
As long as you don't flip him off or say that he's going to die,
creative. You got to be creative. Oh, I can make him want to cry. I mean, I didn't stop the whole time. I gave him the Daryl chant. Russell, like on the entire game, nonstop. The guy I went with, like, he was actually so impressed that I was able to do it the entire game. People were texting me from the stands, Mike. Like, man, you are in his head. You could tell he was being physically affected by me just yelling and nonstop. And that's what I do. But that's what I do.
Here's the thing. I've experienced it, and I know a lot of people haven't been with you to a game, and it's pretty cool.
It's nonstop. It's nonstop. And like I said, I'm creative about it. I don't curse. I never go below the belt. You know what I mean? You can't. You can't do that. Like, it's not like I would ever say, like, if I know that somebody's got a family member that's that's disabled, you don't go there. You know what I mean? That's not the way to do things. I don't mind talking about how your mom was a terrible cook. You know what I mean? And or that your girlfriend's got that club foot, man. And like, I'm going to start to go after that.
I can't wait for Sneaky and you to be at a game to see how he takes it.
I'd love to be there. But I'm curious. It's probably the same way he treated that cashier when we were at Hard Eights. Come on, sweetheart, your mama's a sailor. Come on, we need to ring this up a little quick. I'm hungry,
Oh no, it's going to be a sporting event. It's going to be a lot more than that.
Oh yeah, it's when it's those games. I mean, like I said, and I learn about it. Like, I learn about these guys, and it's fun to learn about them. You know what I mean? Especially if I can get somebody's attention. and they start to interact with me some, I tell you, not only does it do that, but it actually makes me become a fan of theirs. You know what I mean? So like, and it wouldn't matter to me if it was any team. You know what I mean? It's like if they start to interact with me, I'm going to become a fan of theirs because now I'm definitely going to find out a lot about them because I want to bust their balls. You know what I mean? And then it's.
I think the only sport where players really get into the zone is baseball players, where you can really get into their head. And
I am looking forward today for the day that I could say to them, right hand tits, left hand ass. I want to know because I when he roasts his left hand, I'm like, and they try to do it nonchalantly, like they're
you gotta warm up.
Trying to you know.
Yeah, you gotta.
I don't know.
I've
gotten. Yeah, you know how loud I can get.
Oh, yeah.
And there are certain times, like I knew that I was for the playoff game in New Orleans against the Saints. This is where Alshon Jeffrey dropped the ball. I take full responsibility for that first interception, the first play of the game. And it sounds ridiculous, but I was so on fire from before the game. That's what became the Philly sports guy, because I was so fired up 3 hours before the game, literally sitting there on the front row, standing up the entire time, just yelling and cheering. And I was just fired up in such a way that, I'm yelling at Drew Brees. I'm like, you got me all day. I'm pounding his ear, and it's quiet as a pin. You can hear a pin drop in there when they're on offense.
Yep.
So I was definitely being heard out on the field. There was no doubt in my mind, because I was in row one. You know what I mean? And there was nothing in front of me, and I was yelling, screaming, and carrying on. And I take full responsibility. And now every time after, because I know he also looked at me because he would hear me. And he looks over and I'm like, I gotta shut this guy up, please. You know what I mean? Like, you could tell just by the look on their face, because I was nonstop.
Yeah, and if the fans aren't traveling, when we played them over there was a lot of us Cowboy fans, of course, because they're next door. But like you're saying, you probably were the only person that was heard in that whole building when they were on offense.
Oh, absolutely. Without a doubt in my mind. You know what I mean? Because I know how loud I was. People were saying that you could hear me on the broadcast.
The echo.
Yeah, just because it was so loud, just because I was so loud. And there wasn't like even fans in front of me to deaden the sound. And it's nonstop. It's nonstop. I mean, one of the best moments as a fan that I've ever had was when I went up to Minnesota, and we got our butts killed. And I had literally, because of the way I do it, and I didn't sit down, I didn't shut up the entire game, and I was in a spot. Again, sometimes I get really lucky with my tickets. I was in a spot where I was able to do that and not really interfere with anybody.
Right.
It was like right in the corner of of the end zone, in such a way where everybody could see around me. So me standing, because I'm considerate as well. I don't want to ruin somebody else's time. But when I had 4 sections of people, the whole section's going, nah, 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 hey, goodbye. You know what I mean? Yep. I took a bow. Took a bow because that means that they had such a good time that they could all feel comfortable fooling with me like that. You know what I mean? And I was okay with that. You know what I mean? Like, I still won't forgive Jerry Jones, for trolling me. I said, I'm going to get on his boat one day.
Was that at the new stadium in Minnesota?
Say again?
Was that the new stadium in Minnesota?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, the wooden seats.
I didn't have a wooden seat because I was in the corner. I was in like this one section where it actually it flared out some. And that was when you could tell, because I was yelling some weird stuff that day, and Fox put a microphone on me. They had a guy standing there with the microphone pointing up at me. And I knew that, and because I started yelling like weird stuff, like they were doing trick plays in the first quarter. And I'm like, yeah, the problem with you guys pulling from the back of the playbook is that there's not another page. Well, when you hear that, that's like something that you want on camera. That's something that you want to hear because there's not something that somebody says out loud. You know what I mean? I remember clear as day because they literally put a mic guy on, and he was just standing there like this. He's got the microphone pointing at me, and and it's down like you're up high up there. So like on row number 1, you're still 15 feet up in the air. So he was able to kind of be there, and he wasn't in my way. And I look down, and I kind of see him there, and I'm like, I think they got me mic'd. You know what I mean? It just kind of caught me off guard. Like, and then of course nothing happened that I could really continue to talk about like that. Like it was just there was a good one-liner that I had, and there wasn't anything else because it's like, oh man, like we're stinking again. You know what I mean? It was just 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. I'm just like, you can't. There's only so much you could do to cheer. Hey, we got it now. We got this going, and
Hey.
I mean, just like with you guys. Yeah, I mean, I even though we were down by 14 points, it's like we ain't done yet. We ain't done.
Yep.
It's kind of for me. My moment was when we were at a Nuggets game. It wasn't even with the Giants. It was at a Nuggets game. So they have a deal with Chick-fil-A that if the player missed 2 consecutive free throws, we get Chick-fil-A. We get free Chick-fil-A. All we got to do is present our tickets. So I remember. Oh, you get Frosty. Oh, okay.
Yeah, we get Frosties. It's the Frosty freeze out.
So when I saw that, I said, I remember the first time I don't remember who we were playing against, but I'm like, oh, hell no, we get free Chick-fil-A. And I'm looking around, I'm like, y'all better help me get this free Chick-fil-A. We got to eat. I said, and I'm like my family got to eat. We got to eat today. So every time somebody would get to our foul line, now we were sitting in the lower 100 bowl. We were season ticket holders. I would do a bird call as he was lifting up, every player, and it would go like this. Caw-caw, 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 caw-caw. And Nick was right there with me doing the same thing. And then next you know it, our whole section was doing it. And at the end of the night, we got Chick-fil-A, and you thought we won the Super Bowl. I mean, it was we're high-fiving each other. We're getting Chick-fil-A. And then as we're heading out, I looked to Nick and I said, "Where's the tickets?" And then he looked at me. He said, "I gave them to you." No,
Chick-fil-A for you.
No, we still had Chick-fil-A. I just had to pay for it.
No free Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, actually, it's so now they do it so that if all you got to do is say, "Hey, listen, it was the Frosty freeze out," so you don't have to have tickets.
Oh, okay.
It makes it a lot easy, and it's a free Frosty. Then if it happens again, it's a free Frosty and fries. And then if it happens the third time, it's a free Frosty and medium fries. So it continues to grow.
Nice.
The Frosty freeze out.
Nothing tastes like failure.
Yeah, exactly. So I tell
you got to celebrate it some way. Might as well be with food.
But so anyways, guys, we went way over time today, but it was just too good of a conversation to stop.
Oh my God, yeah.
So I thought it was a relevant topic. I didn't think it should wait another week, so it was just definitely, like I said, I felt that the young man did a good job with coming out, and that's really where this all started. And then it ended with Frosties, because once Sneaky takes the conversation, it always ends back with food.
Hey, we almost got free. We're supposed to get free Chick-fil-A, so
I'll take it.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, there's no Chick-fil-A's around me here, so I'll have to just deal with it
for that too. So,
but anyways, guys, thank you again for everybody who stuck around with us. Even going a little bit late, but it's been a great show, and we'll see you guys again next Wednesday at 9:00. For the NFC East show. What is that?
22 years, fellas.
Wow, look at that.
That's you?
That's me and Mama Boss. 22 years.
Are you kidding me?
No, not at all. Well, I wish.
Happy anniversary.
That's yeah.
Yeah, definitely. You definitely that bottle of wine turned to vinegar in your case.
Well, I'm like I said, I'm glad she settled. And this is the only I have another picture here, but this is the only one that she approved of me watching because you can't see her. So
Yeah.
Right on, bro.
Well,
22 years.
congratulations. Congratulations. That's hard work. You know, especially when I do my dating show and I can't make it through 22 weeks.
Right.
So
don't make me laugh. Oh my god.
I'm not killing them over here. All right,
thanks
brother.
again. Have a great one, and we'll see you guys next week.